Hello, learners. Let's dive deep into the ocean of knowledge. Let's start learning. Let's start exploring. Alright, so Hofstede's cultural dimension is a theory developed by Hofstede that lays the foundation for cross cultural communication. It demonstrates how society's culture has an impact on its members and how it relates to the behavior. So the first that we get to see is power distance index. The first dimension of Hofstede's cultural dimension theory is power distance index. It refers to the inequality that exists between individuals with power and without power. A lower index shows that people are questioning the authority and making attempts to distribute power. In contrast, a higher index signifies that hierarchy has already been established in a society without a doubt. High power index shows that people accept the unequal distribution of power and knowledge, the status of leader. Here the culture agrees with the power difference and inequality and shows respect for authority and rank. Important characteristics include complex hierarchies, centralized organizations, large group compensation. Then we have individualism and collectivism. The next dimension of Hofstede's cultural dimension theory is individualism versus collectivism. It explores the extent to which the individuals in a society are integrated into a specific group, the ties that people have within their community, and the perceived independence and obligation on groups. Individualistic societies have loose ties and relate to the relations of the individuals with immediate family. Here, family takes a minimum responsibility for the action of another person, and the onus is on attaining personal goals. Hence, we are done with the first two. Now, let's move on to masculinity versus femininity. The next dimension of Hofstede's cultural dimension theory is masculinity versus femininity. MAS. It refers to the role distribution between males and females in society. Masculinity in this dimension is described as a penchant for assertiveness, heroism, achievement, and material rewards in society. Femininity in this dimension is the counterpart of masculinity and is described as a penchant for modesty, cooperation, and caring for the weak in the community. Then we move on to uncertainty avoidance index. The next dimension of Hofstede's cultural dimension theory is the uncertainty avoidance index. It refers to how people cope with the anxiety in a society and is often described the tolerance level of society for uncertainty or vagueness. Societies with high UAI score opt for stiff laws, guidelines, and codes of behavior. It believes only in truth and people make life as predictable as possible. The people are clear about them, expectations, goals are set, and parameters are defined on the onset. There is a low tolerance or risk taking and uncertainty. Important characteristics include societal conventions. People are allowed to be expressive and can show emotions. Society is structured, conservative, and rigid. Society with high energy. Let's now have a look at the next one, which is long term versus short term orientation. So the next dimension of Hofstede's cultural dimension theory is long term versus short term orientation. It refers to the connection of the past with the present, with the current as well as future challenges. Some societies with high long-term orientation indicate that steadfastness is valued and traditions are kept and honored. It puts its focus on the future and involves a delay in short-term successes to achieve long-term success. The emphasis is on long-term growth and perseverance and persistence. Important characteristics include modesty, emphasis on obligations and virtues. Thrift is seen as a positive value. Then we move on to indulgence versus restraint. The sixth dimension of Hofstede's cultural dimension theory is indulgence versus restraint. It considers the tendency of society to fulfill its desires. Countries that have higher IVR score encourage free fulfillment of an individual of emotions and drives. The society fosters dialogues and debate in meetings, prioritizes mentoring, coaching, and feedback, and emphasize work-life balance. Important characteristics include having fun, enjoying life, optimistic coach, freedom of speech. Countries that have low IVR score put their onus on supervising gratification. They are strict social norms and more regulation. People behavior and conduct. People are professional and avoid jokes and fun activities in the formal sessions. Important characteristics include rigid and controlled behavior, pessimistic attitude. That's all for today's session. We'll be moving further in the next session.